Look at that. Wow, beautiful. Let's do a little cruise around. I have a feeling the Howard brothers, they're really going to love this tank. Their room, it's going to be one of a kind. Guys, you ready for this? Guy upstairs. Come on. This thing's the bomb. I can't wait to see this. Check this out. Coming up on 10. This one's going to be tough. Yeah. This one's big. There she comes, baby. Yeah. There you go. Plus is your home for all things hometown. Watch every season ever, anytime you want.
I can't think of anything that I would love more than what we're doing.
Oh my goodness, check it out. Plus, stream Hometown Takeover, the biggest makeover in hometown history.
It's a new beginning.
It's going to be epic.
I was a 12.
More.
Give me an 8.
It's going to be epic.
Big day, like a regular day, but bigger.
I need to play.
Hey, tone it down. You're scaring people.
Drama Club. Watch now on Nick On Demand, the Nick app, your DVR, and Saturday nights on Nick. And be part of the show that has audiences going wild.
I am exquisite.
With Chase Freedom Unlimited, I earn all this cash back. Oh, I gotta tell everyone. Hey, Rita, you can earn 3% on dining, including takeout.
Bon appetit.
Hey, Kim, you earn 5% on travel purchase through Chase.
Where are you?
Hey, Neil, you can earn 3% at drugstore.
Buddy, I'm right here. Why are you yelling?
Because that's what I do. You're always earning with 5% cash back on travel purchase through Chase. 3% at drugstores, 3% on dining, including takeout, and 1.5% on everything else you buy. Chase, make more of what you want.
This is how I got Patrick to switch to Aldi. He was all, I need the best ingredients.
I thought Aldi was just
Jose comes on in a little bit.
Before investing, risks include principal loss. So we're at Pleasant Appliances, and we're about to show the Howard brothers their refrigerator aquarium, and I'm sure they're gonna love it. Guys, you ready for this? Guy upstairs. Wait a minute. This thing's the bomb. Check this out. I get this. You walk in the front door, boom, first thing I hit you. People are gonna blow away by it. It's like perfect. From the handles to the water dispenser, the stainless steel on the edge. This thing looks so much like a real refrigerator. It's incredible. It fits the spot perfect. Is this saltwater or freshwater fish? They're definitely beautiful. Actually, they're all freshwater. They're African cichlids. They're from Lake Malawi over in Africa. The reason we pick these is because, first of all, they're really, really hardy, and that they're the most colorful fish out of the freshwater species. I didn't think you can get colorful fish like that in freshwater. So we got the albino peacock in there. That guy eats everything and anything if it fits in his mouth. Yeah, like somebody else I know, right? Huh? Yeah. We also got a Picosaurus. It's also known as a pleco. They're algae eaters. They suck on the glass and grill it all the way around. Any food that gets filled up on the bottom, they can actually eat and keep the tank basically clean. So look at the jars of food. Got their pictures on it. We decided we wanted to do all custom theming in the tank, like ketchup, mustard, salad dressing. So I figured I would put my face on there. So from now on, you guys are forced to look at me on a daily basis. Figured I'd get you back for all those years of pranks. Guys, this thing exceeded our expectations. It's unbelievable. But I'd really like to see that wood dispenser work. I'm going to give it a try. Gentlemen, go ahead. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, baby, it works. Once again, I came through. You came through. Hey, you know that's coming out of the fish tank, right? Oh, paybacks are big. No one can do that. I thought you were serious. It's fresh fucking water. So what do you think the customers are going to think? They're going to be blown away. You know, we wanted something that was really going to set us apart from any other appliance store out there, and I think they really hit a home run. It's right at the front door. I think it's going to pull everybody in. And this is absolutely one of Wade's favorite packs. This morning, Darian and his guys got to work filling up Dr. Joe's shark tank with natural seawater. Now it's time to get the props in and hit the home stretch. We gotta angle these pieces in there. Get the ladder. There. You
How saying we go? Time. YouTube.
Seeing you with your shirt off. You gotta get those props now. And you are perfect right now. We gotta take a ride, guys. Now it's time to let Heather know the real reason why we asked her to come to New York. We gotta go into Staten Island and go pick up some sharks. We're gonna get sharks out of a tank, and we're gonna drive them all the way from Staten Island to Long Island and put them into this tank.
I need to know exactly what it is I'm doing. The last time I landed in a shark tank.
All I need you to do is drive. That's it, simple.
Okay, that I don't mind helping with. I'll do whatever I can.
But when we get back here, we gotta get in the shark tank. Let's go. So we're traveling roughly 60 miles to Marco's house in Staten Island to pick up the sharks from Dr. Joe's tank. Hey, Marco. That's great. We built this tank for Marco about 2.5 years ago, so we weren't surprised if the sharks had outgrown it. So fun. So now we have to catch and wrangle a 3-foot nurse shark and a 3-foot blackhead. So I'm glad we brought a few extra hands to help. Our game plan is we're going to drain most of the water down into our tubs. I'm going to climb up there, we're going to actually get a net and a towel, scoop them up, get it into the truck as fast as possible. My top priority right now is the safety of these sharks. The transfer has to be done very carefully and very quickly. We want to minimize the stress on the sharks. There you go. Let it get comfortable.
Here she comes. I got her.
Okay. We're not ready for the truck right now. Follow them out, right to the truck. You got it? She's it. One shark down, one shark to go. This one's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Don't pick her up. These people like to do that anyway.
You got it. You got it.
Yay!
She's good. She's fine. Wrap her up. Watch the stick. There you go. Take it easy. Let's go. Be careful.
Careful.
Good job. Open the jack. Open the back. I'm so relieved we caught these sharks pretty quick. We got them in both tubs. They're doing great. Now we got to drive out to Long Island. We got a long ride.
Where's he going?
Just follow him.
This is not the way we came.
We'll follow your brother. We'll get there. We'll get these guys in the tank. They'll be fine.
Right. Shark doing all right back there?
This shark is doing really good. The tubs are temperature controlled. They're going to stay about 75 degrees. This is perfect for the sharks. But we still have to move quickly and get them into their new home. Follow and have a look. You're supposed to stay with them. Blinker's on a mile ago.
I didn't see you.
I know you're not watching. You got to come across Sunset Parkway. Oh my God! Hold on. The water's splashing back easy, Heather. Look at this. There's no gas in the car. You see that?
We get stuck on killing.
After a really tense drive, we finally made it to Dr. Joe's. Easy, guys. Easy. I roll her and slow. I don't want to bang this up. I think she needs to get one hand up the ladder, no handles. I think it needs to go right in.
Yeah.
Sharks that size, they're strong. You're worried about them biting you. You're worried about hurting you. It's very nerve-wracking to get this shark in that tank. She's okay.
I don't want you to get her leather soft.
Okay, then I'm going up the ladder. Let's go. Up the ladder. Let's go up, up. Got it. Coming up on 10. This one doesn't care if it's in the water or out of the water. It wants to bite you. Wants to tell. Hold on.
Charge. The Ego Select Cut Mower. Only at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
YouTube.
Arthritis gel contains the most prescribed top.
I don't care anymore. I don't know what I want. I want to watch something, but I don't know what. I want to watch something, but I don't know what. All thing I do know is I want to make sure I get some decent videos made tonight. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna be on YouTube until I get a hold of my colleague because I need to ask him a question. I'm gonna be back at the P. I'm just down for 2 hours when you have to get a hold of it and see if I'll hop on and say hi or not. Hey, Zach, I'm glad you're on. I have a question. You're in or out?
It's no more costly than turning or trouble falling asleep. Because only temperature uses a proprietary temper material that continuously adapts and responds to your body to relieve pressure, so you get deep, uninterrupted sleep all night, every night. The Tempur-Pedic Sun.
This is North Korea, the most closed-off country on Earth. This Asian nation is often the center of intense scrutiny for its aggressive displays of militarism, its internationally condemned nuclear program, and of course, its oppressive government dictatorship. A 2014 report by the United Nations concluded that the gravity, scale, and nature of these human rights violations does not have any parallel in the contemporary world. This is all pretty damning stuff, but with the exception of the human rights, these aggressive actions is actually not something that the North Korean government is particularly ashamed of. What they are ashamed of, though, is something that all of these media spectacles help to distract from, and that is their incredibly pathetic economy. The economy of North Korea has an estimated nominal GDP of 25 billion US dollars, or a purchasing power parity GDP of 40 billion US dollars. And this is actually an incredibly hard figure to calculate because of the extreme lack of reliable economic data for the country, and because we need to appropriate the value of North Korean won, which is pretty much an internationally worthless currency with no foreign exchange market. What this estimate does mean, though, is that North Korea has a transactional economy smaller than Beverly Hills, LA. Of course, instead of designer handbags and rodent-sized dogs, North Korea does channel a large portion of that income back into its military, but it still puts the whole nation into context. Beyond the dramatic chest beating and despite all the opportunities this country has been given, it has dwindled into complete economic obscurity. To truly understand this catastrophic disappointment, though, we have to start at the very beginning. The Korean War ended in July of 1953. After years of devastating back and forth conflict amongst the new political ideologies that would go on to shape the later part of the 20th century, the Korean Peninsula was kind of right back where it started, divided along the 38th parallel with the capitalist nation in the south and the new communist nation in the north. North Korea was actually able to get off to an extremely strong start after rebuilding from the horrors of the Korean War. With support from their communist neighbors, China and the Soviet Union, North Korea was able to bounce back and start building a pretty impressive rate, quickly pulling ahead of their similarly named neighbor to the south. The North Korean government was certainly a planned command economy, meaning that all production, investment, and allocation of capital goods was controlled by the government. This was again very similar to their communist allies, China and the Soviet Union. After the war, the centrally planned economy would work off a series of 5-year plans that would be decided on by the Supreme People's Assembly of Korea and then converted into a legally binding final plan. At first, these plans would target things like the building of ports and the increasing the crop years, formation of trade agreements, and of course, the growth of the military. In the early days after the war, North Korea actually had a lot going for it. It was starting at a pretty low point, but it was able to trade its abundant natural resources with its communist partners, and in exchange, they would provide North Korea with technical goods and industrial know-how to convert the country from a fledgling agricultural nation into an industrialized powerhouse. This all started to slow down, though, in the mid-60s. North Korea was undertaking its fourth central plan. This time, it was actually a very ambitious 7-year plan aimed at industrialization to increase living standards. But for the first time since the plan started, it was becoming clear that North Korea was not going to be able to meet this optimistic target. There was an overall reduction in Soviet support during this time as North Korea started to align more with China. And while they were all communist nations and they were all friendly, it was kind of a bit, like picking which parent you liked more. North Korea was under a lot of pressure to increase its defense spending, given the increased pressure of capitalist nations like the USA, who were hell-bent on stopping communist domino effect, which was the idea that communism would spread from one nation to another like dominoes. And then, in 1965, for the first time, and despite all of the advantages it had, South Korea exceeded the growth rate of North Korea, although for now, it was still a smaller economy overall. The small problem of slowing growth eventually turned into a full-on crisis in the late 70s. At this point, North Korea was still able to raise money through government borrowing, and it had sunk itself deeply into debt trying to maintain these ambitious plans. This wouldn't have necessarily been a bad plan had the money actually been invested into productive infrastructure, but by this time, North Korea was sinking as much as 25% of its budget into its military. For comparison, the USA, a country that has an enormous military budget, actually spends about 54% of its federal budget on military spending. So North Korea's spending doesn't actually sound too bad. But there are two things that we need to consider. One, the United States also has state budgets, which cover things like local police, roads, schooling, and the like. These state budgets and local budgets actually make up close to 50% of total government spending in the United States.
Okay.
The actual military expenditure is not as severe as it sounds, realistically making up just under 30% of total government spending overall. North Korea does not have state budgets. It has provinces, but the whole economy works off a central national budget, meaning that 25% figure in the 70s was the whole story. The other bigger consideration here is that the USA is not a centrally planned economy, and federal government spending only accounts for about 9% of the USA's total output. This means that in 2018, the USA only had a military expenditure 3.2% of its total GDP. In North Korea, a centrally planned economy, the government's budget kind of is the economy. And so, in this period, military expenditure was around 20% of their total economy. All of this economic mismanagement and reckless military spending meant that in 1980, North Korea defaulted on its debts, which cut off its ability to borrow money to keep its head above water. These financial problems were compounded by a large-scale drought that was plaguing the nation at this time, and meant that by this point, its neighbor to the south was easily able to surpass it economically and continue to grow into what it is today. North Korea struggled its way through the rest of the 80s, relying heavily on China and the Soviet Union to feed its people and keep its infrastructure afloat. These countries were actually pretty happy to help out in exchange for more of North Korea's natural resources, and also in a desperate attempt to prove to the world that communism was the way of the future and that central planning was definitely legit and did not lead to widespread starvation.
New Revlon So Fierce Big Bad Lash Mascara. Double-sided brush. The curvy side creates extreme volume instantly. Flat side thins out lashes. Big bad bold volume. Lash chin effect over time. New Revlon So Fierce Big Bad Lash. Please wear responsibly.
It's never been harder to keep healthy bees.
Sustainability is really important in the honey industry. It's not just about honey. When you're talking about a third of our diet that depends on honeybees for pollination.
If it couldn't get any worse in North Korea, it did. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed, and when it did, North Korea lost its biggest lifeline. North Korea had to drastically adapt, and 2 years later, it announced another budget plan. This time, a 3-year plan focusing on agriculture, light industry, and foreign trade. This all sounded great, but it kind of went the same way as all of the previous economic plans did. North Korea no longer had access to sufficient stores of fertilizer that was previously supplied by the Soviet Union. Its trade agreements flopped because of its crippling foreign debt, and also because it did not produce enough goods to actually trade with, which compounded by making investments into infrastructure all but useless because they were not able to produce the machinery needed in North Korea because of a lack of technical expertise, and they were not able to import machinery because of the lack of anybody that wanted to do business with them. A lack of trade for a small economy like North Korea is all but a death sentence in today's world. At this point, North Korea was desperate to try anything to get their economy to do something, even if it meant resorting to the thing that it hated the most. In a desperate attempt to modernize its economy, the North Korean government was playing with the idea of private enterprise, but it was doing it in a very North Korean way. Experimentation into small-scale entrepreneurship took place from 2009 to 2013, and although there continue to be legal uncertainties, this has developed into a significant sector. By 2016, economic liberalization had progressed to the extent that both locally responsible and state industrial enterprises gave the state between 20% and 50% of their total output, selling the remainder to buy raw materials at market-based prices into a normal free market. In 2014, the Enterprise Act was amended to allow state-owned enterprise managers to engage in foreign trade and joint ventures, and to accept investments from non-government domestic sources. Under the new rules, enterprise directors became more akin to Western chief executive officers, and chief engineers, previously a government job, had an operational role more like a Western chief operating officer. These individuals could even personally benefit from running these operations efficiently. As of 2019, though, it is unclear as to whether these semi-government, semi-private institutions are still in operation. Today, North Korea finds itself going nowhere. Its economy has actually started shrinking, and its increased militaristic chest beating has meant that more and more sanctions have been placed on it, further suffocating an already struggling economy. For reference, South Korea, which started in the same place as North Korea after the War of 1953, was not blessed with the same kind of natural resources as North Korea. It did not have the land connection to a powerful ally like North Korea has with China. It did not get offered countless extensions on foreign aid and debt relief programs like North Korea did. But South Korea's economy today is over 6 times larger than North Korea's because it facilitated private enterprise and it invested into infrastructure to support the massive industry it has today. To further credit the difference between the two systems, South Korea also achieved this growth while growing up with a terrible neighbor that constantly threatened to nuke them. So, what does the future hold for North Korea? It really is difficult to say. The government of North Korea seems to be stuck in a cycle of ramping up military aggression as a weird way to turn around and beg for more foreign aid in exchange for calming down a bit. It is literally the screaming child in the middle of a city.
Tonight we're staying in not only the cheapest, but arguably one of the best capsule hotels in the world. This is really trippy, guys. I feel like one part of me is in a spaceship, and the other is in a nightclub, and I'm very, very lost.
China. Oh, John, I hope someone gets on here soon, you know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to China.
Hope someone gets on soon.
Arguably one of the most technologically obsessed cities in the world. And when I was looking up New Year's / where to stay, I came across something that was unbelievable. Of not only the cheapest capsule hotel I have ever seen, but also supposedly one of the most unique in the world. And I don't really know much about it other than what was said on the Unique Hotels website and also the reviews. So, oh my god. Guys, check out what's on the corner here. There's a Walmart like 2 minutes away from the hotel. Okay, I've never been to a Chinese Walmart before, and I've heard like crazy stories about it. Like they're absolutely enormous. So I gotta check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, the store is 3 floors. Okay, so I don't want to get too sidetracked here, so I'm just gonna limit myself to a minute 30 rapid fire explore. Just feast your eyes.
A 3-story Walmart. Wow.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the food floor. I've never seen this kind of setup at a Walmart before.
Wow.
Numerous different snack and candy aisles here. If you're wondering what a Snickers looks like in Chinese, there you go.
28
If I was a kid here, I would be in trouble. Hi. And
Oh, that's really speak
food area is insanely big back there. There's another woman. What? They have live people here? Oh my gosh, they even have like a shop area? Let's say Walmart in the US, you have to pick up your game. But okay, I'm gonna take one snack and then I'm gonna get out of here and get out of the capsule. This is a cheese cookie
This is how it's
bucket.
sold out.
So many choices. There's like 30 flavors of the coffee thing. You know, normally I'm not that big of a fan of Walmart, but this is insane. Okay, it did catch my eye. It's an egg roll in a snack form that also has cheese in it. Never tried 2 of them, let alone 3 of them all at the same time, but usually like all of them separately. Okay, got my egg roll cheese snack, and now let's go find this capsule. Hello, egg roll cheese.
它是你要上面还是下面？上啊。
Yeah. 谢谢。
然后
Okay, so I just got my locker here, and first impressions on this place. These lockers are so cool, and that's like something that you just do not say about lockers. It truly exemplifies like the spaceship experience. So, anyway, with that said, I'm a little bit sweaty from being outside. I didn't realize how hot it was going to be in Shenzhen because it's like 25 degrees in Beijing and it's like 75 degrees here. So first I'm going to take a shower and check out the bathrooms. Okay. I can work with this. So it looks like there's individual sinks out here and then showers. And you know, the showers are pretty nice. They're like rain-like showers with some sort of like marbling here. in the bathroom. Okay, so we've got absolutely crazy here. Let's go check out the rest of this place. Oh my gosh. Guys, it looks like a freaking spaceship. Okay, there's one, he's like robot figurine everywhere. Two, it looks to be like an opening almost of a spaceship. And this stretches for the entire floor here. Oh, I think this is like a gaming area. So cool. So there's 2 rows of 4 flat screen monitors. I don't know what they're doing, but when at man on the capsule tower, it's a game. It's freaking lighting up and the monster too. I don't want to sound like I'm exaggerating here. But in this moment, I feel like I'm in a completely different universe. Like I walk down the hallway, I say everything is purple, everything looks like a spaceship. There's a freaking robot. And then I find this area where people are gaming away. The only way I can describe it is this is like the ultimate hangout spot. A place where you go into during the middle of the day and you spend all night there either sleeping or gaming. And then you come out the next day and you're just like, you see the light for the first time. You're like, oh, that's the feeling I have right now. Okay. Okay, cool. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, what just happened? And QR code. Error. Okay, I'm gonna link the game to this guy who's like just killing it. Like just listen to the keyboard sound. Like. Entering into this capsule, I felt like I had jumped ahead to the future. Not only was I blown away by the futuristic design, but also the incredible practicality of a door that actually closes and locks in 2 separate air vents, which is possibly the most important thing in a capsule. Now, being 6'3", I'm not exactly the
I'm seeing Millie's kids
for loving capsule experiences. Normally, my feet will hit the door of the capsule or the curtain, so to be honest, the comfortability is not normally there. But I'm very happy to say here that this is officially the largest capsule I have ever seen, with my arms being able to stretch the entire width of the capsule, a pretty high ceiling, and being able to make 1.5 full turns. Now, although this capsule hotel was definitely the cheapest I have ever seen, there was actually a lot to explore, which means we have to start another edition of the amenities review. So at the front desk, I got a bag of goodies, ranging from a very important first amenity of a cup and a toothbrush, a pretty nice pair of headphones for the TV, which we'll check out later, and then the slippers. Now, slippers are a pretty common thing to receive at capsule hotels, but I've never received one in a plastic bag before, which I'm not gonna lie, made these slippers absolutely great. Like, I'm talking about bad. Moving along, of course, we have our egg cheese roll of a snack for later, a remote for our TV that's literally ingrained into the capsule itself, with anything from movies to TV shows to even games, making this without a doubt one of the most comfiest places I've ever posted up to watch a movie. Now, in terms of the comfortability of this capsule, the pillows and sheets were not only good, but completely blew me away with having not only a normal pillow, but also a memory foam one. Like, where am I, and how is this just $9 a night? Now, honestly, without a doubt, the drawing card of this capsule, a feature that's so simple, yet transforms this thing into a crazy experience, was, of course, the control pad. This made me feel like instead of being in a hotel room, this was more like I was a commander of a ship. Having a touch-controlled purple dashboard light illuminating the capsule to be a purple color, and also a window light setting, which I'm not going to lie, for practicality reasons, if you're reading or you want to get a little bit of work done in there, although there is another reading light, the window light is truly the overall light of the capsule. Now, also on the control pad, there was an audio jack and 2 places where you could plug a USB into. So honestly, from the practicality of things, like this little shelf to the giant comfortable space to just the overall awesomeness of this pod, this is not only the best value I've ever received in a capsule hotel, but truly the best experience, which you'll continue to see as we explore in the nighttime. So I've just come back from exploring the city here for the first time, but according to a few reviews online, this hotel at night is like completely like it goes to the next level. Oh man. I'm pretty good at staying in space. This is really trippy, guys. I feel like one part of this is in a spaceship, and the other is in a nightclub that I'm very, very lost. So I told them to surprise me, and this is what they gave me here. I'm sitting here in a $9 capsule spaceship of a hotel. There's barbecue chicken, flashing lights everywhere, in these saucer-like chairs. What is my really delicious. Yum, yum, yum. This is honestly for $9 one of the most wild and weirdly spectacular experiences I have ever had. So if you're coming to Tanzania, if you're coming to China, this might be like a place just to come to on your trip. Today we're experiencing the #1 rated first-class airplane seat that's literally a fully private 5-star hotel room on an airplane. Here we go. We're just drive by excitement right now. Like, here's there's things available like $1,000 meals and amenities, an actual room service on an airplane, and we're taking the longest journey available of 14 hours. Oh, and also not to mention, I got this ticket for the price of a business class seat.
Good morning, welcome on board.
Thank you.
And this one is yours.
Wow.
Would you like to have shit in your dick? Hey kids, $500 bottle of shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the room. And I say room, you just
This is how it feels to be all that dough. We tried a new $1 go-away menu at Burger King, featuring the only flavor bacon cheeseburger around for $1. So for just a buck, you can get your hunger and your hustle. The new $1 go-away, you better.
Colors can
I'm getting off at 9.
or cool blues. We have thousands of colors to show off every shade for you. Discover your colors with Michael's same-day delivery and curbside pickup. Michael's, made by you.
This chug is brought to you by Badlands Chugs merch. Get on your sign Badlands DOS boots, shirts, and other merch at badlandschugsmerch.com. Yes, folks, we're chugging something super weird today, okay? All the way from Japan. This, my friends, is spray. Melon cream soda. Don't touch that What's good now? Welcome back to Badlands Chugs. I'm back in the backyard, chugging something that's totally rare. Totally something you can't get in America, but your boy Badlands has it just for you. This, my friends, is melon cream soda. Okay? It's by Felice, and it's straight from Japan. It's one of those sodas that has milk in it, okay? It has some skim milk in there, and oh man.
I'm gonna get sick tonight.
It's something that I'm not used to, but I'm willing to try it just to see how it is. And let's step into the chill zone, folks. Ah, yeah. Since I was going to get 4 cans, that's how rare it is. We're going to do it in the mini Badlands Chug Style Spoon, 44 ounces. And if you want to get one, all you got to do is go to badlandschugmerch.com. You got a plain like this, autograph, and the plastic ones for the kids, all right? So, badlandschugmerch.com. So, let's get to the pour. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Nice, healthy green color. And it smells refreshing, all right? Let's continue to pour this bad boy. All right. Look at that. Oh, man. You see how it foams at the top? That's pretty cool in itself, too. All right. Can number 3. Nice. Nice. Uh-oh. Hold on a second.
For me.
Get rid of some spoon somehow. It tastes so good. So refreshing. Something that I'm totally not used to. Oh, man. I mean, once you step out of America, all the soft drinks taste better. That could just be my opinion because I'm an American. But enough of that. This is the last one, folks. Let's get this all the way to the top. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, look at that. Ah, we fit it all in there. Nice. All right. So this is it, folks. Melon cream soda. All the way from Japan. Let's just get this foam off the top once again.
Melon cream soda. Yeah, right here.
All right. Now you're ready for it, okay? Enough talk. This is for you, folks. Cheers. Yes.
Oh, oh, oh.
Oh my gosh. So much combination these days. This is a case from the other side of the world. Oh my God, this is so good. Yes. Felice melon cream soda. All right. I love it. So that's the chuck for today. Okay. Stay tuned, folks. Chugging the world with one bottle at a time. Badlands Chuck is back.
This will be interesting.
Don't touch that mouse. Your life is Chuck's. Yeah, I take my room key out.
I don't care about that. I don't give a care about my. Do blah 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 blah. Lazy crap. Lazy crap. Lazy 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 crap. Lazy crap. Lazy crap. Why buy that lazy crap?
I feel like I stepped into the hotel suite.
Don't give a care. Don't give a care about nothing. I care about is that 98. Oh.
I'm going to make from scratch.
Ooh.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to that last challenge today. We're doing an album challenge today, right? Big up to Joe Cross. He had a documentary called Fast Sick and Meal Dead. He made the lean juice, which is pretty much, cucumber.
I'm getting off, guys, at 9 o'clock.
Green apple. And, I got ice water. So basically,
Put this again, guys, at 9 p.m. I'm shutting down.
And here on this huge abandoned army base, crisscrossed with more than 30 miles of deserted roads, we received the details of our challenge.
Why is it an envelope and not a text? That's a good point. Or in Wales, no signal.
Yeah, we're back to the old ways.
Come on, then what is it? Because the drivers of 80s hatchbacks were irresponsible and stupid, they were often chased by the 50. Jamie, fiver. It's in a line five. It's the police. Yeah, whatever. Well, anyway. You will now go head to head with the Top Gear Police Department. Each of you will take it in turns to drive your own car, while the other two will use a selection of police vehicles to try and stop you. That sounds quite good.
It does sound good. I tell you what, Hammond, you go first.
Good, yes. I might need a minute.
While Hammond mended his car, James and I broke out the TGPD pursuit vehicles and slipped into our police uniforms. Okay. Hammond, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
And 3, 2, 1, start the clock.
We are off. Yeah, it's just warming up.
Here we go.
Excuse me, sir. My moustache would like a word with you. Could I step out of the vehicle? In the mix, sunshine. What did I do? How long?
8 seconds.
Yeah, another fault. Yeah, very, very sorry. It manifested itself similarly to the last one that I repaired. Tell that to the judge.
Yes.
Sunshine.
Right.
Jeremy then put on the yobber outfit and lined up his velvet golf on the start line. 3, 2, 1, begin. There we are, 8 seconds. Already back to heaven. Get away, Constable.
Yes, we're past.
You see, what we're learning straight away is that a modern police Astra is no match for a 1980s hot hatchback.
And it wasn't just the Astras that were causing problems.
Recent figures show that in London, 12 police cars have crashed every day. And the reason is it's because they're driving in high energy and difficult situations while under the influence of a moustache.
Moustache, moustache, moustache.
Oh, he's lost it! Totally distracted by his face decoration.
rest was unable to close the gap.
Come on!
The chase went on and on and on. The next morning, the weather had become extremely Welsh. But still, the golf was uncaught.
This isn't working, sir. No, I agree. I think we're going to have to break out the Top Gear Police Department and take control of justice.
If anything could stop the miscreants, it was this. A giant crane with a 7-kilowatt magnet suspended from its arm. A machine that could render any vehicle immobile in moments.
Right, let's go get it.
Soon, the trap was set.
What's this?
Arming magnets. Here he comes.
Blithering idiots, do they not realise you can't use a magnet to pick up velvet?
Velvet.
There was only one thing for it. Unleash the TGPD remote control car of death.
Target vehicle identified and located.
Where the hell are they? How can this be a police chase when they are chasing people?
Target acquired. So you might want to put your fingers in your ears.
I don't know where those two are or what they're plotting, but it won't work. This car is simply...
Bigger than I was expecting, Constable. Yes, sir, it was.
So it turns out that velvet is impervious to magnets, but it is pervious to dynamite.
What happened?
Baby, I'm so sorry. I'm having flesh these.
Do you want me to get you two?
КНДР. Как много в этой аббревиатуре. В основном негативного, конечно. Но, тем не менее, мне всегда было интересно, как обстоят дела с автомобильной промышленностью в этой загадочной и закрытой стране, где для обучения в автошколе нужна рекомендация начальника, а личный автомобиль практически невозможно купить. Именно об этом я и решил вам сегодня рассказать. Автомобильная промышленность Северной Кореи берет свое начало от автоиндустрии СССР. С 50-х годов вплоть до конца 90-х все автомобили, которые производились в КНДР, представляли собой лицензированные копии советских машин. Вот, например, М-20 «Победа», которая в Северной Корее получила экстравагантное название «Утренний цветок». Она, кстати, выпускается по сей день и совсем не с электрическим мотором. Так что УАЗу с их буханкой...
Japanese cars, YouTube.
Кстати, забавный факт. В конце 80-х для последующих...
Korean cars, YouTube.
Be quiet. Don't tell anyone. But I'm on a secret mission to reveal the secrets of the secret industry of one of the most secretive nations in the world, North Korea. Welcome, everyone, to an inconspicuous 12th episode of the Automotive History series. We're going to take a look at the history of the North Korean car industry. I strongly advise you not to like, subscribe, and above all else, share this video. Because if this gets out, they're going to have to.
He's dead.
Yes, North Korea, one of the world's most secluded nations in the world. And when we talk about its car industry, it can be rather simply put. There is none. Just kidding. There is a little more to it than you might expect at first, but much of the information about it is either vague or limited. First, a quick overview for those living under a rock the past 10 years. North Korea is the result of the Korean War, which split the peninsula in half. South Korea pursued a more capitalistic approach, whereas North Korea went for a more communistic approach, partially backed by superpowers like China and Russia. North Korea likes to present themselves to the rest of the world as a country that's doing just fine, but the rest of the world knows better. I'm not going into detail here. God forbid that I create a political war in the comment section, but you should know that the average people of North Korea lack a lot of basic goods and services, and that North Korea itself lacks a lot of resources to be well industrialized. And I say this because this also affects the North Korean auto industry. Now that we have that out of the way, the car industry in North Korea is marginal. Sources say that they have the capacity to produce about 40 to 50,000 vehicles per year, but most probably and realistically make only a couple hundred of them instead. To put it into perspective, the average production output of the United States and Japan is around 10 million. But who makes cars in North Korea? There are roughly 5 companies. The first one is Sungri Motor Plant, which makes all and everything, including urban and off-road passenger cars, cargo trucks, almost always based off or rip-offs of foreign cars, usually from Russian or Soviet or Chinese origin. Then you have Pyongyang Motors, which is currently the largest manufacturer. They have the exclusive rights by the government for production, purchase, and sale of used cars, if only they could find customers to sell to. Then there is Pyeongsan Auto Works, which mostly makes utility cars based on the Soviet Gaz-69. Next up is Chongjin Bus Works. As the name implies, this company mostly makes public transport buses. And there is Pyongyang Trolley Bus Works, which is the same thing as the Chongjin Bus Works. The most interesting one of these 5 companies is Pyongyang Motors. The business started in 2000 as a joint venture with a company of the same name, but from South Korea. This is getting juicy. They have a bunch of sub-brands like Viparam, Beoguji, and Zunma. And I hope I never have to pronounce these names again. Oh, I guess not. Viparam has 3 models. The 1, the 2, and the 1, 2, 3, 4. No. They have models known as the 1, the 2, and the 3. I'm not making this up. The 1 is based on the Fiat Siena, because of course Fiat sells cars to communist countries wherever they can. I'm looking at you, Fiat 124. The 2nd and the 3rd are based on Brilliance models, a Chinese car company like the Brilliance FSV. Bioguji has a model also named the 1, which is based on a Fiat Doblo, and they conveniently forgot to remove the Fiat badge. The rest of their models are based on Shugwang models, which in their turn are based on models of Ssangyong, a South Korean car company. Starting to become dizzy?
Yeah.
To put it simply, there are companies that like to copycat other genuine companies. Well, North Korea copycats the copycats. And this can also be said about the Zunma mark, which has a car, the Zunma, no model name, based on the Ssangyong Chairman, which in their turn is based on an older Mercedes E-Class. You see what's going on? Okay, enough of this maze of rebadginess and copycatism. Imagine being a car guy in North Korea. You'll be one of the most unfortunate individuals in the world. For starters, there is a high chance that you don't or never will own a car. And if you do, and you got it through illegal ways, chances are that you get picked up and sent to the electric chair. So, how about becoming a car spotter and trying to snap pictures of exclusive cars? Or any car in North Korea, really? Well, guess what? taking pictures in the public space is forbidden. And when you get caught doing it, you will get picked up and sent to the electric chair. Okay, but what if I become a car journalist slash reviewer for the nation's one and only car company? Sure, come in. But make sure your review is objective and that our cars are excellent. If your opinion is different, wrong, then you will get picked up and, you guessed it, sent to the electric chair. But back to people and cars. It is assumed that out of 1,000 North Koreans, only 11 own a car. I don't have to tell you that if you go on Google Street View or watch a video about North Korea, the streets are mostly empty and many people simply walk, bike, take the bus or a taxi. And the taxis are based on the Chinese BYD F3, and BYD stands for Build Your Dreams, talking about rubbing it in someone's face, and are one way for North Korea to show foreign tourists that they are with the times. But what about the nation's political party and the supreme leader? Well, as you can probably guess, they got themselves covered. Especially Kim Jong-un is known as somewhat of an auto aficionado. He owns a nice collection of high-end luxury and supercars, including an Audi R8, a Range Rover 5.0 supercharged V8, a Rolls-Royce Phantom 8, and a bunch of Mercedes S600 Pullmans and Maybachs. Now, Mercedes has received some criticism as to why they sell cars to dictators, but even they proclaimed that they have no clue as to how the S-classes ended up in North Korea. One story goes that the cars were shipped to China, then transported by a cargo ship that turned off the tracking system for a full 2 weeks. Makes you wonder. And that brings us to the last example for today. Back in 2011, when Kim Jong-il died and had his national funeral took place, with the crying people and all that, the funeral had a long motorcade of cars. One car had the coffin of Kim on its roof. And look closely. You know what car it is?
Lincoln.
A mid-70s Lincoln Continental, an American luxury car. Everything that represents America, a symbol of capitalism, and thoroughly hated by North Korea, is present in this very car. Let that sink for a moment. The symbol of
Zach, if you're on, that'd be nice.
is carried by the symbol of capitalism. And I can only wonder how that car, of all cars possible, ended up in North Korea. I mean, who, how, what, why? Does nobody in North Korea notice this? Who came up with this idea? Who did the approval? Did the government official look at Craigslist and thought, oh, hey, that looks good? So many questions and so many unanswered, and will always be with such a secluded place as North Korea. I mean, I can keep going. What the hell is it? Oh, shit! Yeah.
Experience Makita's cordless outdoor power equipment. The mower cuts non-stop for up to 2 miles. Get unstoppable.
Well.
Oh, I see a sib right here. It's got a yellow canis on Zancudo and nylon.
Okay.
I'm gonna start backing up to it.
Come on, Zach. You got on, Zach. I talked to you.
Where at?
Zancudo nylon. It's a yellow canis.
Oh, I see you.
Hey man, this car's on the repo order. Gotta take it from you.
What army said that I'm repo order?
What's that?
What the hell's going on here? What's going on?
It's on the repo order. Electric plate 2K NOX Y4. Yep, this is it. Yeah, this is it, man.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it.
Why take my
This is it. Well, because this is it.
All right, load it up.
All right, you want to get into the paperwork? I'll load it up.
Yeah.
DOJ, GTA, YouTube.
Oh, I remember.
Monkey eating mayonnaise, so.
What?
Zach doesn't get on here, so I'm going to get that he doesn't want to go.
Typical bugs.
Yeah. No.
Typical Bay Area bugs.
No.
Bay Area mayonnaise.
Let's go. God damn it.
Jesus Christ. I hate that fucking word. I hate the substance. I hate everything to do with it.
Bug.
Yeah,
Bay Area bug. All right. City?
Yep.
It's going to hit up the city and make fools of ourselves.
I'm gonna have to get some. Let me get gas now.
How
Yeah,
far
it's
are
probably
you? I
best.
haven't even touched mud.
Yeah.
All the way here. They're by mine.
It looks like we've been out on the mountains all day.
Yeah, we do. Our bikes don't.
I live on a mountain.
I'm 30. My bike is super clean.
Yeah.
And they will eventually. Where'd you guys go?
Right here at the stop sign.
Okay.
And this Zach was on here, but Zach doesn't get on here by. I'll stay on I'll stay on until maybe 9 o'clock, guys.
Well, I guess if no one's going, we'll go.
We shall get told for that.
So we got no plates.
We're gonna get in trouble for just having it on the street.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's gonna be one of those C cops,
Run
boy
cop.
cops.
Yeah. He doesn't seem like he's very interested in this, so.
That's good.
Oh, well, this guy might.
Yeah, that one probably.
He just slowed down.
He
He's
slowed
about to
down
do
to
that
hell.
U-turn.
You slowed down to hell.
Things
You see, he's still going though.
Yeah, they don't care.
Wow.
And we weren't doing anything wrong. We were even going that fast.
We're doing something wrong on the streets right now, but.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, these aren't
They're
technically
street
street
legal.
legal.
Yeah.
They're not registered.
They got no blinkers. They got
No
no
stripes.
plates.
Who needs them?
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Damn. Wheelie.
Average.
Whoa. Watch yourself.
Oh, yeah, these things here.
That looks super legit on everyone
Yeah.
else's screen.
No, it doesn't even look legit on mine.
It's the classic SE Bessies.
Fucking I.
Jesus.
Surprised we haven't been screwed with yet. And we're smashing.
Yes. Oh.
And we passed 2 cops already. Ooh, God, you're getting close.
Yeah, I am. I'm in cinematic mode too. Now I'm
Coyote
Jack. Oh my god, I got hair. Jesus.
That shit.
God damn. Cinematic coyote run over.
Damn, 100
Yeah.
miles an hour on a damn show's not bad. Not bad.
Oh, that's what I was cinematic mode.
Oh, shit.
Okay, throw the flag.
Jesus.
Throw the flat. You want me to claim an ambulance?
Yeah.
Luckily, we haven't did not die from that. So.
Uh-huh.
Let's just go sit at the light with
Listen,
him.
I was gonna wheelie past him, but yeah, we can sit at the light.
Oh, I need to
He's
get
on a
a
Harley, nice.
You get a coming on. There we go. Got it.
Oh, Art Center. Let's go in the Art Center.
Oh, nice.
There it is. Yeah, hold on. Wait for him to pull up and then go in.
Oh, I'm already in here. I'll wait for you guys. Just hanging out. No biggie.
He's gonna see us.
Oh, there's some homeless people in here sleeping, so.
Oh, that's morning.
It's pretty close to what we were doing. Let's be honest. I'm gonna wake her up the old-fashioned way. Time to wake up, Sleeping Beauty.
What's up, motherfucker?
Wake up, Sleeping Beauty.
This one will not do anything. Oh, there we go.
She won't wake up.
What are you guys
I
doing?
was gonna say they will not wake up.
You guys
We're
over
in the
here
Art Center.
Look at us shooting the
harassing homeless people.
Yeah,
we
well,
do. We do.
we don't get paid
Still
enough
won't
for
wake
like
up.
this.
No, she's on some hardcore drugs, man.
This is. I cannot be a dirt biker if my bike's gonna keep breaking when I
Put some armor on.
hit the small. Yeah, that's.
That's what I'm gonna do too. Oh,
I do a little
I
bit
hit
of
one.
those.
I hit one and I ragdolled off my bike.
I hit a one.
I hit one. Okay.
Ooh, gonna water it up.
Water it up.
So we got a little pond over here.
So the water.
Yeah, there's a lot of homeless down here.
Yeah, there's a lady drinking over here with a helmet. Oh, there's
Oh shit,
the bike's,
son!
the bike's here.
Fuck the police. Fuck the police. Oh shit! As I run into a wall. Oh! Yo, shake it up! Shake it up!
Oh my god, I can't
Shake
believe I
it
sat
down.
on it.
I know. I don't know how that was possible. Oh, sorry. Oh my god! Oh shit! I just ran someone over and I run over the face. I'm sorry. I killed him. We gotta get out of here right now.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
you
go.
killed somebody. Let's go.
Yep.
Now
There.
it's a felony.
Now where?
Now,
Oh,
now
he's
it's
here.
a phone.
Now it's a felony. Oh
Okay,
shit!
he's here.
He said get on the other side of the sidewalk? What?
I don't know what he said, but I'm not
I
gonna
think it's
stick
a
around.
lie, are you? That's what it sounded like, but yeah.
Does he really think he's gonna chase us? What does this look like?
Of course. Of course he's gonna
We're dirt
chase us.
bikers.
Yeah, there's one there. See if he goes for me or you guys.
I'm right behind. Who is
He's
the
going
leading
for me.
this?
Shit. Yep. He's going for
Oh.
me. So you guys are off scot-free
Here,
this
Grove
time.
Street, Grove Street.
All right. I won't
Where
bring
you
it
off
to you guys
then?
Oh, we can lose. It doesn't matter if you do. We can
Okay.
lose them on these, no problem. We're gonna just go to the back alley on Grove Street and pop out the other end.
I mean, he's on a bike.
How do we get back there?
Can we? Is there like
Oh, that killed it?
I'm on
You piece
Grove
of
Street,
shit.
cul-de-sac.
There should be.
No cop.
Really, you got there without breaking your fucking?
Yeah. I think you took the brunt of it.
Good. There should be a way to get through.
Yeah, isn't there?
This
That's
fence
what
right
we
here.
need to know is we need to know all
We
the
need to
little
make. Yeah, we
cutty
need to make.
spots to
Oh,
like.
here. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Without breaking it.
Oh,
Right here.
okay, yeah, right here. Through that. There we go.
Oh, fuck. This one's a little skinny. Can we go out the other side?
You can. You have to go over the. No.
Shit, yeah,
Go
right there.
up this
No
way.
fence, right here.
And then turn this way.
Yeah, to your left.
And then. Oh,
Yep, there we
super
go.
tight, super
Right
tight,
out.
super tight, super
That's what I'm
tight.
talking about. Yes.
All right.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Jesus. So
Look
if anybody
out.
gets the
How'd
cops,
you get on that
that's
side?
Get off the guys at 9.
What side?
Oh, never mind.
So get off soon.
Never mind.
Okay. But yeah, that's
What is
that's
my
the
notes?
comp. That's the oh
That's
shit,
the
there it
getaway.
is.
Go and grow. Oh, shit. We did
Get out.
that.
Yeah, but now we know it's there, and they don't
Yeah,
know
he's
it's
got a
there.
friend. He's got a friend.
Ah, shit.
God.